Hey, how are you? I hope everybody can hear me. And let me just get some of these games out. Here I am. Hey, how are you? So my name is Walter Kruger, and I'm here on Around the World with Mr. Walter. And one of the things that I wanted to show you is that I am a big gamer. So before we start, we're gonna kind of looking around and tell you a little bit about myself, tell a little bit about New Minds, what we do, and also try to make sure that I show you some of the my favorite hobbies, which is gaming. I also have a couple of kids and Nicole and Walter, who are actually here from college. But like I said, one of my biggest hobbies and one of my biggest elements is gaming, and a few fun facts about me as well. So, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of games that I can look through. So we're gonna look through a few of these and then kind of just move forward and just make sure that we got. So games such as Ticket to Ride, a wonderful family game, and I can teach any of you guys to how to play if you guys have these at home, or at least if you're thinking about it. Yeah, we can do a session on that. So this one ties in with our series as well, because we're going to go all around the country, and it's going to join us through all the railroads of the United States, and then we can do several others through Europe and the rest of the world. Beautiful, beautiful game. So another game which is a lot of fun, and we'll get a chance to build, is a Santorini. So Santorini is a small little island, and we'll be able to go there through our Google Earth, and it's a great game, beautiful, beautiful game. So we can also show you how to play that as well. No game library could be complete without Catan. So Catan is just another great game about settlers and how they raise crops and everything. A wonderful worker placement game. So it's a lot of fun. The Big Book of Madness. So kind of like a Scooby-Doo, who did it? Kind of kids Harry Potter type of game in which kids open up a book and just all sorts of creatures, and now they have to learn their spells and learn the characters so they can come out. So, wonderful, wonderful area. So, and finally, we got some role-playing games, just like Mr. Adam was showing in the video right before, and I was just making sure that is, all good. So, yeah. So here we go. Pathfinder is one of the role-playing games, just like Dungeons and Dragons, just like other games, all the role-playing games that we do play here at home, and also play online, and also we play when we get a chance with the rest of our crew with the New Minds Enrichment Inspirators. No game could be complete without Magic the Gathering, not only the card game, but the miniature battle game. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I am so glad that you guys are actually watching, and I'll show you some of the great games that have part of my collection. No game will be complete without Star Wars. The Star Wars, the miniature battle game, the card game, any of these games are just incredible. So there's absolutely a lot of fun as as we look through and we see that all these games are just a lot of fun to play. Miniature battle game from Star Wars. Gamma World. A great game that I played when I was in college, and then they had another edition. It is a role-playing game, mutants, and you get playing. The fun thing is that you get a chance to change your mutations. You could be flying, you have laser eyes. So all these fun little games that I have. So I just kind of picked up a few. It is hard to pick, Adam. So thank you for asking. Do I have a favorite? Yes, I am completely partial to role-playing games, and I absolutely love them. They created the one that you are actually doing. So, and I'm also very partial to Marvel. So I'm very partial to Marvel games, and that's what I like. So, Marvel Legendary, a great, wonderful card game to play. A little bit more involved, but lots of fun. So some of these games are actually cooperative, and we'll do so. We've got the stack, and nothing could be just in this moment in time. And I've got to play a little bit of Pandemic. We're racing around the clock just like many of the first responders are doing now, to race around the clock to make sure that we are kept safe, that we are healthy, and just giving us all the instructions to stay at home, enjoy, and also play some games now that we have a little bit of time. So another fun fact that is really interesting that maybe some of you guys might not know, but I was a Marvel editor, so I did get a chance to edit and translate from English into Spanish a lot of comic books. So I translated Spider-Man and translated Iron Man, and then we printed and we sold them to Central America. So it was a great fun. But now here living in Texas, which is a great place, and we absolutely love it. We will be. I wanted to show you and let you know some of the wonderful things that are happening. So in this Earth of ours, as we spin around, we have a great little show for you today. So we are going to be going forward and exploring some of the areas. So please, on your comments and on the rest of it, just let me know what areas you would like to go and what you would like to see. So in the comments, I know that we had all sorts of places. So we have places like such as Russia, which we're actually going to go. Then we already went to Costa Rica. We went to Machu Picchu in Peru. We're also going to start exploring the pyramids in Egypt. So that's 3 countries and 3 great places that we have gone. Now we're going to stay here locally in the United States, and we're going to go to one of the greatest places and one of the most beautiful areas that we have, which is we're going to voyage into Yellowstone National Park. So we're going to walk through, and then we're going to see all the geysers and all the great locations that the national park here in the United States can bring us. So let's fly down first and kind of look around to where we are in this great little place of ours. So we are now in North America. So let's fly down to our offices here in Dallas, Texas. And as we fly all the way down, and we'll see, there we go, hovering right on top. So we are now in Plano. You can see that here are offices of the new mines. And from here, we're going to start our journey around the world. And we will actually, you can actually take a look. So there's 75. Right over there, there's a few other buildings that you might recognize. So we'll go way down to the front door. Again, look at our basketball and our basketball court that's right outside. And here we are, the front door of our offices here in Dallas, Texas, right in Plano. And as we start every session, here it is, our basketball court. And we actually work right from these. Let me see if I can go, and I'll show you where we work. And I'm not sure if there's anybody working there today, but we're going to take a little peek in the windows, and we'll see if someone. There he goes. There it is. Our offices, and these are the windows that we kind of look outside. We get a chance to play. We do some of our camps there, as well as we run Masters of the Vendiverse. So that's where Mr. Adam runs, and I, at some point, we run Star Wars, we run Dungeons and Dragons, and we run all sorts of games right from here on Saturday. So you're more than welcome to show up. So we will pan out from here, and then we'll start moving. We'll move out slowly from where we are, and now we're going to go back out onto the world, and we'll go moving from where we were and back. So here we go, and now we're going to go to the Yellowstone National Park. So I really hope that you guys have been having issues with my microphone on the last couple of days, But I really hope that you get a chance that you can hear me and everything. It's good. Then we're going to kind of keep on moving forward, and we're going to head out to the Yellowstone National Park today. So let's fly down to the Yellowstone National Park, and I have it right here. So here we go. The national park, the Yellowstone National Park, which is just one of the great places here here in the United States. So we'll go, as you can see, we get a chance to visit all the different national parks. But we'll start right here at the Norris Geyser, Red Basin, and here we go. And during the session, we're going to be able to kind of walk around and see some of these beautiful, geothermal areas. That is the hottest in Yellowstone National Park, and it has now the museums and the trails and the geysers, and you can see how arid and how all the smoke and sulfur is coming from. So one of the hottest places in Yellowstone National Park, which is the Morris Geyser in the basin. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And we'll move from the geyser and kind of take a look around, and you'll see how incredible this whole section is, right? So the geyser and Norris Geyser Basin, and we'll do. So thank you, Adam, for replying and for asking around and just making sure that everybody can hear me okay. And we will keep moving through the Yellowstone National Park. And if you have gone, please comment on the chat. The chat is always open, and tell us a little bit, and we can tell the rest of our viewers, your experiences as the national park as you walk through, and fun facts about all this area. So as you can see, the national park is absolutely enormous. And let me pan out a little bit so you can see the size of it. All these yellow points are the points of reference within the national park, and we'll be able to visit some of them. So we'll go to the Grand Canyon at Yellowstone that just kind of winds right through, and we'll move through all these places as we kind of visit this another wonder of nature, which is the Yellowstone National Park. So let's fly down to the Grand Canyon. As you can see, the canyon just stretches right through the park, and it goes all the way through. It has a deep cut within the limestone and within the stone, and it stretches all the way across, and it meets several different ridges within the park. So we'll actually head right to the base of it and take a look right from the edge of the national park. So we'll go right on the side and right on top of the trail as we fly down, and we get a closer view. We go right down on the ground, and as you can see, the water and the water rushing, and some of the waterfalls that actually are within the park, as the water kind of just moves right through the canyon, back and forth, and moving all through this gorgeous and beautiful area. Perfect, So as we kind of move right through, and we can look through the area of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone National Park. Eroded hundreds of thousands of years ago. This valley features the waterfalls and colorful and oxidized rock. So as the hot and warm water starts moving through, it just erodes has been eroding for hundreds of thousands of years. So let's kind of move out from where we are, and let's go to the next spot within National Park. So we have visited the Grand Canyon here in Yellowstone. And as you can see, the erosion that has come out all this water as it kind of moves and goes right through. So we're going to take another look, and we're going to keep moving to the next section which is the Hayden Valley. So the Hayden Valley, you can see and hear some of the great pictures of, how they're here in the Yellowstone National Park, how the herds of bison, you can see grazing still in this lush grassland and, this nature-rich valley. So it is an incredible and great area as we see this full savanna and this full valley of here in the Hayden Valley, and maybe we can see in the distance some of the bisons that we typically see grazing right through this area. All right, so as you can see, there's the water hole and this huge valley right within the park. So as we pan out a little bit out of right out of the national park, we'll move right back out and keep on exploring this great place. So as we go across the park, we have the entrance for one of the most famous, geysers that we have, which is Old Faithful. So the visitor center here in museums, it kind of shows all the educational exhibits of here in Yellowstone. So it kind of displays everything from volcanic geographic artifacts as well as rocks. And one of the things that I have is actually have one of the rocks from that area. So it was given to me as a gift, and we'll be able to kind of take a closer look of how incredible these things are. And I know, Miss Adam, as we kind of keep on going, we keep seeing how these rocks can be painted. But I have a small little camera, so we can actually try and explore throughout all these wonderful geographical and incredible places, and how water and pressure and heat kind of erodes through. So great little place. So if you head out and get a rock, take a closer look. Where you live and where we have all these places are completely different. So it is amazing what you can have as just porous rocks, as well as smooth rocks for river rocks as well. So as we move out from where we are here at the Old Faithful National and the Old Faithful Educational Center, you can see all the trees and all the areas that have, and we will fly out now to the next section as we see a beautiful area of Old Faithful. So Old Faithful is one of the most famous geysers and one of the famous attractions here in Yellowstone. It is hot water kind of erupts and consistent schedule. So as the pressure starts building, then it just kind of explodes and you see this huge plume of steam and water. So one of the interesting things about steam and water is that you can generate energy from it. And as you generate energy, it powers all sorts of other electrical points. So, geothermal energy generation, which is kind of harnessing the heat and the water from all these places, then has become one of the main ways in which now our new technological world can bring energy from the natural world. And I want to ask whoever is already joined in, or if you're watching, what other ways do we extract energy from the natural world? There's at least a few others, so type it in the chat. What are other ways that we extract energy from the natural world instead of using fuel, instead of using gas and petrol? So what other ways can we gain energy that is natural, that is renovates, and as well as it's an ongoing that keeps our earth green and healthy? So type it in the chat, and we'll be keep looking around as we move from the geyser here at Old Faithful And we'll take just a quick pan around. As you can see, everybody's waiting and watching and just seeing the incredible walkway as, Old Faithful does all the water eruptions in a consistent schedule. So incredible place right here of how, the Old Faithful just has a plume of water. So as we keep on walking through the incredible area here in the Yellowstone National Park, it is in Wyoming and Montana, and also stretches into Idaho. So one of the great things, which is the vibrant bacteria that blooms in these thermal basins and scientific research sites. So all the water and the nutrients actually has the bacteria that is bringing. So our activity today is going to be very easy. Our activity is going to be we're going to use some of the just kind of cardboard, and we are going to try to make one of these prismatic springs, a multicolored area that then we can use. So how we're going to do that? So it's kind of pretty simple. We're going to be tracing around and around, and then we're going to start coloring each one of the areas. And as we color each one of the areas, then we're going to be decorating it on the side with something that is readily available in most of the homes here in Texas, which is little pieces of mulch. So as if you look closely at mulch, it actually does look like a small little rock. So, as we get all these pieces of mulch and we change our basic cardboard into, a multicolored prismatic spring with all the different bacteria, then we'll be able to color and add some of the mulch around, and then you can color it, and you'll have your own grand prismatic spring with vibrant bacteria colors filled with boiling hot water that we can definitely showcase as another part of our arts and crafts that we are building throughout our sessions here at Around the World with Mr. Walter. So let's take a quick look here that now we are. Let's go right to the edge of the water, and right at the edge of the water, as you can see, the vibrant colors of how the bacteria just kind of thrives in this hot spring of sulfur and hot water coming from the earth. So it shows you how actually resilient and how incredible these the bacteria blooms, and how incredible they can survive in these extreme temperatures. You can see the plume of blue water, or the plume of blue mist that is on top, as it actually colors the mist when they start evaporating, and you can see all the rest of the incredible area and the walkway. You can see right next to your feet the incredible bacteria and the vibrant colors that bloom in the Scientific Research Center here in the Yellowstone National Park. Huge area and incredible, very beautiful. All right, so as we move away, we'll go to the Mammoth Hot Springs. So the Mammoth Hot Springs, and this is a really interesting place because, as you can see, it's a famous Yellowstone attraction because it's a terrace-like cascade of steaming pools. So you see one pool here, another pool. So you see how the water is moving, and you see this whole area, just terraces of one area, then another, and then another, with the water seeping through, which is an incredible place. So thank you, Shay, for joining, and Mr. Adam, I know that you're here, Janet as well, and Kristen. So thank you all for joining in, and you can chime in if you've been at the Yellowstone National Attraction or Yellowstone National Park, or if you want to go. I definitely want to be able to go and kind of walk around and be able to see all these wonderful places, which is right next door from here in the United States. So as we keep on moving from the Mammoth Hot Springs, we're going to go straight to the first one of the lower terraces area, and we'll go straight into to kind of look around, and we go to the first terrace, and as we go to the first terrace, you can see how the climb moving back and forth and up, and you can see how people are just kind of moving and going all the way up, further and further up through the terraces, one, two, and you can see the climb as the second level. So all the part of the hot springs and the sloping complex, you see some of the water that is actually kind of moving from the higher terraces back. And you can see how that, it's still, and you see all the steam, that is still hot water that's moving through all these terraces, and you're getting all these, wonderful locations, and it gets stuck in different areas, and you see how all the terraces and all the limestone is being eroded as the water just kind of keeps on moving down, and yes, you get a chance to walk up all the way through from the lower terraces of here in the Yellowstone National Park. So as we move from the terraces, we are going to head now back up, and we are going to move out of this section from the lower terraces, and then go all the way up to the second level. And here's the Mammoth Hot Springs, and then we'll go to the upper terraces. So let's go to the Mammoth Hot Springs, and let's go to the upper terraces. As we cross along and fly our way right into the higher levels of this great section of the Mammoth Hot Springs, and you can see all the hot springs that are bubbling right through these white sulfuric hot springs that are coming in. So as the ground is being heated and water is being pumped through, you see all the minerals are coming way up to the surfaces. So all the hot water, you can see this whitish sulfur and salts have they accumulate from side to side. Definitely not a great place to you see all the trees. Even though trees do grow, you see them how they suffer from the lack of nutrients as all these waters and come up and fill these terraces. All right, so we have gone up the section of the Mammoth Hot Springs, and we're going to keep on moving. And now we're going all over the visitor center. Here is the displays of the Albright Visitor Center, and this is all the area that we have. But there's a specific place right here which is interesting that was built. So as we move, you'll see, which is the Roosevelt Arch. So the Roosevelt Arch was built in 1903, and the Roosevelt Arch is the kind of like the entrance of Yellowstone National Park. So as we go for Yellowstone National Park, you'll see the main entrance here at the Roosevelt Arch. So we're actually gonna head down and go to the arch, which is right. We'll go straight down, and we'll go to the arch, which is right in front, if you can see it. So here are the springs, and here is all the different visitor center. I'm going to try to find the arch, which it should be the gateway for the area. So as we can see, the gateway for the area, I think it's right here, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so as we fly down, oh, well, this is again part of the savannah and the entrance of Yellowstone National Park and some of the additional buildings. So, so as you can see, the entrance here, the park provides us with all the amenities that we have right before climbing all the way up to the springs and kind of moving forward. Um, All right, Jonathan, thank you. You've been to these places, and I remember walking across those footbridges and paths around the springs. Oh, wonderful, excellent. I bet it's extremely hot, and you feel how the immense power and heat from the rocks that actually come through. So as we journey on forward from the Yellowstone, we'll go to the one of the great areas, which is the Tower Fall. So the Tower Fall here is a huge 132-foot fall that's overlooking the general stone and the parks. It's a short hike from the park, but as you can see, lots of climbers would like to come in and kind of climb this up. So it's a beautiful waterfall. It's right in the middle of the whole area here in Yellowstone, and you can see all around. So 132 feet water flowing, and then just kind of heading right down the mountain. So an incredible place and really beautiful how as we can you can move. And I know that my son does climb, and I'm sure that he would absolutely love when we go to climb up any of these in any of these areas. So as I'll pan out, we will take a closer look from the higher point. So we will look right at the edge of the water, and we will do an edge of the water. There it is, right at the edge of the water, coming from the waterfall. So as you can see how it fills and runs right through the savannah and right through. And this is what I was talking about. All these river rock areas, all the smooth rocks that are, just specifically from this great and wonderful place. So here in the Yellowstone National Park, the towering falls right on the side. And as we move forward to the other valley, which is the river valley or the area in Yellowstone called the Lamar Valley, and this is an incredible area of, as you drive up, you see the mountain range left and right, and you also see bisons and herds of other animals as they kind of gather and continue. You can definitely see how this was what a beautiful place on and how the wildlife kind of just graces right through. So when you feel that everything has been already built, and you feel that there's just places that there's no more room, you can definitely take a quick look through the Yellowstone National Park and see all the open area that is still here in the United States. So let me pan out a little bit more as we can see the full park. And you see the expanse and the size of it. Crossing from Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. So we went to went most of these places. So we started here at the Grand Prismatic Springs. Here we got the Old Faithful and the Visitor Education Center. and we visited the Hayden Valley where the bisons kind of graze, as well as we visited the Grand Canyon here in Yellowstone, which has been eroded for thousands of years, as well as we went to the Lamar Valley. We just flew down and kind of saw some of the other valley at the other side of the park. We went to the Tower Falls, 132 feet straight down, and then kind of just washes right into the Lamar Valley. We also went to the upper and the middle terraces and the lower terraces that we can see all these great springs that come up and all the great minerals, as well as the bacteria that's actually growing still in these really harsh areas. So I'm going to go right back to the prismatic springs and kind of so you can take a look of some of the colors, and I'll show you some of the colors that I am using to kind of build and have my own prismatic springs, but with vibrant bacteria here in Dallas. So yeah, so I've taken a few colors. So definitely the blues right in the middle, as well as the edge of the orange, as you can see, making the whole area. And now that you can see on the map that there's other kind of brown rocks right alongside, and you can do this at home, kind of trace in and then start coloring. And I have had several colors already that I've chosen. So we have a few markers. We have the bright greens, bright pinks, as well as bright oranges and bright reds. So we start coloring, and as we color in, we'll be able to add some of the mulch that we got from outside, and start adding to it. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape, and then we're going to start adding some of these mulch around. And at the end, you'll be able to see a little bit of how this prismatic springs actually should be kind of moving through. So as we move, you'll be able to see right here what I am talking about as I start using a little bit of tape. And after I use a little bit of tape, there you go. So after we color in all the bottom section and we start adding mulch around, you'll be able to actually create a small crater that we'll be able to color in and see as we start adding some of the great colors. And then when people ask you, what is that? Well, this is, we took a little tour to the Grand Prismatic Springs in Yellowstone National Park. And I started to make one of them with an instructional video that we can add then to our collection of crafts around the world that we have started. And if you remember, yesterday we did some ruins that we were in Machu Picchu. The day before we did a pyramid. Now that we were actually heading out on Egypt, and then let me just finish taping the last one. And there you go. So as we start coloring the rest, I have my trusty wizard with me. And now we can definitely see, how this adventure and this can start. A full adventure with a wizard along the prismatic springs, what is it coming out of that. You can start your narrative, and we can gain and grab a little bit from the rest, which is our element from uh, Machu Picchu. So as you can see, we have already started building hot springs, ruins from Machu Picchu, and finally, right in the back, our pyramids. So a cool little set that we're starting to build so we can play adventures and we can actually, and each one from a different place that we have visited. So these are, great crafts that are coming from the what we have definitely been going. So Jonathan, yeah. So Jonathan says that he remembers being enamored with the colors of the geyser and the waters, and also how the colors came from the sulfur. So it definitely connected the memory with a strong smell, which is a sulfur reaction. That it's just incredible, and you can see all the as he's saying, all these area of steam that's coming out right from it. So incredible, surround the beautiful and the beauty around this whole area. So great, thank you, Jonathan, for chiming in. And if you have any other places that you have gone and places that you would like to see on our exploration of Mr. Walter around the world, I would absolutely love to hear it. So yeah, we are back on the Old Faithful Visitor Center as we started our journey, and now we're going to move out from Yellowstone National Park. And as you can see, the expanse when we fly out from Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, and you can see all the rest of the national parks that we can explore. The Grand Teton National Park, the Yosemite, we have the Sequoia, as well as the Death Valley National Park. So we'll head there. Joshua Tree National Park as well, Zion, and we have national parks all across the country. Here we have the Rocky Mountains, which is a place that we're definitely going to have to go. The Wild Cave, and as we move out here, and let me turn the globe around. So let me turn the globe around. That way we actually see some of the national parks. So here we go. National parks that are here in the United States that we can definitely head out. And next time you head out and visit, there's Guadalupe Mountains, Big Bend National Park as well. Obviously the Grand Canyon National Park, and down in Florida, Dry Tortugas National Park, and as well as the Everglades, which great to actually go see some gators right there. So, and there's national parks around and also around the world. So we'll be able to head out and see some of them, which are just absolutely incredible. So let me take the last few minutes and to thank you for being with us, and thank you here for being with us with New Minds. We know that these are some of the some great times and difficult times being at home, but at least I hope that we get a chance to kind of walk around and take just a brief moment, less than an hour, just walking through some of the national parks that we have here and all the rest of the world that we can explore. We have a lot to explore, not only within North America, we're also going to Central America, going to South America, all the Caribbean, so we can do a pirate escape in where the pirates go through, just like the Pirates of the Caribbean. We can go all the way up to Alaska and kind of move right through Iceland and Greenland. We can head all the way down to Chile, and we can you see some of the islands also as well. We can go explore right through the North Atlantic and the North and Pacific Oceans, the continent of Africa as well as Europe, and we will move to India and in Asia. So as we move right through, and we'll be able to see the small world of ours that we live, we can be able to explore 1 hour a day, one moment at a time, and we'll explore all these sections. So as I turn back to the great places here and see our Earth of all the national parks, you can see how we have such great time just exploring our not only our Earth but also great places within, and also being able to do some of the crafts that come forth. So when someone asks you, well, what did you do in these last week? Well, I went to Costa Rica, I went to Egypt, I went to the Yellowstone National Park. I went and saw some of the ways that people go to the Inca Trail all the way up to Machu Picchu. So, and you can say, well, wow, how to do that? Well, we did it through the comfort at home here in Dallas, Texas, and exploring the world, which is beautiful too, which is called Google Earth. So our coming up on our next hour. So don't make sure that you are available for the 3 o'clock, the steam train with Mr. With the steam train live streaming, and as well as the New Minds Vault, which is later today with Mr. Ben. We'll also make sure that hear the closing messages, the announcements for parents, and all these things that we're doing. So my name is Walter, and like I said, I am one of the dungeon masters. So I do have, like I was saying, a great selection of games of all sorts, and I do run the Dallas Fan Expo convention, over 100 tables of gaming. My passion is role playing, traveling, and I really hope that you enjoy not only this section, but also enjoy coming with me every day and exploring the world together. So thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Adam and Janet, all the rest that are on the chat, and everybody else that hasn't chimed in but it's watching. Thank you so very much for being with me. I'll leave you with Around the World with Mr. Walter, one of the B-52's song, which is Rome. So enjoy it, have some fun, and be safe for the rest of the week. Have a great one.